thank you so much for being again with us. This time is on the Spanish territory because we are at Cervantes. Are you studying Cervantes in high school in Sweden?
No.
Or in
did
school?
we? Did we? I studied Spanish at least myself.
Okay. We changed to Spanish now?
No, better not. We better stick to one language. But I thank the Spanish for allowing us to be here,
sure.
also
nice,
to share the the European space, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's why. I was curious to know if Cervantes was known in. The author.
Enough, of course. The basic, the main book of course is a classic.
Yes.
So yes,
because in Bucharest we also have this cultural institute, and we also have a high school.
There's even a high school.
Yes, and it was all kind of confusion since this morning because they didn't know where to go, there or here.
I see.
I think that's why once more Aeneas Festival is important to find out the two different addresses of the Cervantes in Bucharest.
I'm glad I ended up in the right spot together with you,
of course,
Irina.
you couldn't.
Always my
otherwise,
pleasure.
I was quite sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this time we have Till Sun Rises.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen it in Stockholm or at home or in here?
I had to come to Romania to see it. If I'm
okay.
honest, actually, it's a fairly recent movie. So I was already here when it was filmed and produced. So that's my excuse for not having seen it in Sweden. But I was glad to have the chance to watch it pre-watch it here in a way.
Yeah, because it looks like we are all watching it together. And I think it's something very European to see the same film and to think about it at the same time.
Right.
Even it is said that each and every of us is seeing another film every time. It's,
Probably.
taking something from inside. It's not the same thing that we are
I think that's
picking it, but we also have some common points of view.
Probably, yeah.
And because I suppose it's a little bit different of the films that I've seen up to now.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, it's so romantic, extremely romantic.
Yes.
I would say hot in a cold climate.
Yes. We can still be.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Because you can.
We need to.
Yes, you have to feel. I was curious to know if it worked in Sweden as a film. So they enjoyed it, they thought about it, they felt like having such an experience maybe or something like that.
I think it's in a way, I think it's a typical Swedish film. It has a lot of the well-known Swedish actors, several that also have international experience. It's written and directed by someone who is well-known for a long time, not only on film, but in theatre, comedy, etc. He's been really active, Peter Dalle. So I think that already is the mark of quality for the Swedish audience also. They know the actors and the originator. So from that perspective, it's a well-respected and well-received film also in Sweden. I think perhaps it's should be even more interesting for an international audience because it has some really beautiful sights again of Stockholm, of other. It's mainly in the Stockholm area, all of it.
But also the scene Dominican Republic, because what they said it's Mauritius was in the Dominican Republic.
Sweden could not take credit for that, not even a studio. That's true.
Yeah, but the idea that you are dreaming of that is also, I think, very important.
Of
because
course.
From my point of view, it's like entering in your dreams. I mean, in your people's dreams. As a nation and so on. So I really enjoyed very much.
It is.
For me, it was so nice to be able to be there in your dreams and to see what you're dreaming. I've never thought about that, and it was like a sort of a trip in your dreams and so on, which is, usually you can't enter somebody's dreams, but on the cinema, just for the cinema, it was a very nice film. It wasn't a comedy that time, because in here you have some comedy moments and so on. It was a Hungarian film. It was called About Body and Soul. And it was a couple, and they were dreaming the same thing simultaneously. It was extremely nice. Yes, yes, it got a prize in the Berlinale and so on. And I thought a little bit about it when I've seen this one.
Yes.
And I said, you see, this is another point of view. It's even more poetic, and the idea of traveling in time and space. That's I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it takes, in one sense, part of the film is a bit materialistic, isn't it? I mean, we see families that have lead a good life. They have nice families, nice houses, buying nice things for each other.
And grandchildren also.
And grandchildren, a lot of things that we do wish for in life. But what they are really wanting is, of course, what we see in the dreams. So it is interesting, I think, to be able to follow and to see that that goes beyond the materialistic needs.
Yeah,
it's actually the experience of being together. Surely they are in nice places, like you were saying, in Mauritius, etc.
But also, in the end, it's a little bit boring, repeating itself. But we are not talking about the end.
Yes. But it's about the experience rather than the material things.
And I think the idea of going back and having the possibility to choose again what you probably haven't chosen the right solution,
or that we have we have to we do choose certain things, or certain things in life happen to us, but this was, I guess,
it's called destiny.
Destiny.
You can't escape the destiny. Sometimes you can
but it came
fool it a little bit.
Came with a bit of a price. Yes.
A high price, I would say.
Yes.
It's quite a high price. I would also have another question, because, through these films we are trying to discover you, each and every country and each and every people and so on. Because I have at the beginning plenty of lines regarding age.
Right.
He said, my daughter is now having a child who's an older man. He's not so old when you can see it. You can't understand why. When he was in love with Hannah, she said, but you were older than me, and so on. And so it was something repeating itself as lines. And I never thought that you could have such problems, because in my mind, in our mind, in the Romanian mind, you are so clever and so over us all that you can't have such small talks. You see? Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Because what it seems in Sweden is that we are very, I think, fixated on, perhaps too fixated on youth, on being innovative, on being on always catching up with the newest thing. And I think perhaps
if you are not Uwe, who is not so much looking for that, as you remember.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that is also what we have. But people don't, if they could choose, they would not want to be like Uwe, or like an older person. We want to keep perhaps we're a bit fixated, a bit materialistic in that sense, that we want to stay young. Maybe everyone wants
forever young.
Maybe everyone wants a little bit to stay forever young, but maybe we have it harder to accept that this happens to all of us. And also, it's a little bit about what the society expects from us. I believe. So, as we, perhaps as a society, embrace and cherish and give a lot of room and possibilities for the young people, maybe then that comes at the expense of the older ones, or that is perhaps perception by older. We have a little bit of, I think, discrimination against older people, different from Romania. In Romania, it is a little bit the reverse. I think if you're too young, you're considered not to have any experience and not to have anything to say. In Sweden, it is almost the opposite. If you're young, your ideas are still worth listening to, and if you're old, perhaps you get old too quickly. The experience that, of course, we do have as growing older is perhaps not being valued enough. So I think it's something very interesting that you noticed that we should think about, because I saw it too. The nice thing I thought about the film was that they experienced, the tenderness, even the heartbeats, the love. That also happens with people that are older. You don't have to be 25 to be a loving couple on the screen.
That's true. Yeah,
I think that's also nice to show.
Or maybe the other couple is already for so many years that they are not tender enough. So going back like that is recuperating some years. But about age, I was just thinking, just all of a sudden, I remember Greta Garbo. She came from there, and she ended her career in her 30s, thinking already that she's not young enough and so on. Okay, we have all kinds of legends that maybe Stalin said, if you are still going to play after Ninochka, we don't know. We are never going to know exactly why. But anyhow, she's the only one who stopped so young. And she wasn't stopped by the film directors. She stopped. She thought that. So that's why all of a sudden all these lines about age and so on, because you are always looking so young, all of you, and especially you, because I've seen you so many times recently and so on. So I said, why do they have this problem? I should say, I don't know.
It's a beautiful compliment from Romania. It is. I mean, it's something that we should think about, actually, and try to enjoy life rather than worry about age.
That's why we are showing comedies, in order to enjoy life and to discover also life, and to discover where to live better and to enjoy everything, and to enjoy, as I was saying, especially in here, enjoy love. Another question would be, usually there are plenty of couples during, for example, they were high school mates or university mates or something like that. There are many couples like that usually. That's why he's saying about his daughter that the son-in-law is a little bit not young enough.
What can I say?
I don't know, usually, what's it?
It's a good question. I think yes and no. I think people do meet most of the time where they are either studying or working together. I think that's the most common. And even in my own case, it's not high school, but surely studying. So
that's why it's important to study.
It's another good reason.
You see?
Another good reason.
It's a good reason. It's another good reason.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's why you had the Nobel in there.
Yes, exactly.
And it also, on the other hand, it was so funny. First of all, that she was working in a publishing house called Nostradamus. It's really funny.
Many coincidences in this film.
Nostradamus. And then the old lady reading the future in there. And not especially the future, but in fact, the gift, the book that he couldn't understand, he couldn't decrypt. And she is trying to explain a little bit what's happening and so on. It was a very, very funny. And I think out of it we should think a little bit what we are offering, because Christmas is knocking at our door. Take care what gifts you are offering. Because he was also offering a very expensive camera, if you remember. And she had the possibility to take a picture while he was dreaming. Quite intense dream, a little bit too much intense, very intense dream and so on. And then to try to explain it and to understand. Take care what, not only take care what you wish, but take care what you dream.
Yes.
Take care not only what you receive, but what you offer.
Absolutely.
As a present, no matter the occasion and so on. Yeah, because usually, sometimes we are not thinking so much of what we are offering, or in order to have something to do with that person, something, I don't know, something that you feel about, or you think about, or you had, for example, when I was back from Cannes, I thought that it should be something with a Palme d'Or, because you got the Palme d'Or. I mean, Sweden got the Palme d'Or in there. So
it's the thought around it.
Yeah, it's a thought. Yes,
more than perhaps that can hold more value than the commercial value. So I think that's
and it's
important.
also it's very important if when you are offering something, to see that thing you use it and so on. I was so glad, because you get a daisy this summer, because you know why? 30 years ago, when I was in Stockholm, the girl who was a sort of a guide while I was staying there and for the festival and so on, at the radio shows and so on, she told me that after the war, the most common name for girls was Margaret.
Yes.
And you know that Daisy is a Margaret in Romanian. And I thought, okay, we'll have also to offer my cinema soul for you, and also to have the names on. So that's why I was thinking
special
about
meaning.
it.
Yes.
So that's why, and these gifts they were so important from where it started till the sun rises. In fact, the title, because the sun never rises. In fact, in the end,
it's true.
Yes, they say,
or they give a little bit of glimpse of a new beginning for the other couple.
Both, for both couple like that.
I am curious. I mean, it gives us the with
sort
our
of
imagination
to be continued in your thought.
I think in our own.
You know,
it's for each one of us,
my cinema professor, Deis Sukianit, he was a very wonderful gentleman, and he was he was in his 90s. He lived to be 90, and he also said that it's important to create the povestea bis, with meaning the story that you are creating afterwards, like when you are going to a show or something, or you are going to a concert and you are asking for an encore. So it's an encore story. So a sort of to be continued by yourself. And I think it will be a good.
Certainly
I
worked
think
here.
it's among the films that we could do that.
Yes, I agree.
And we thank you so much for all these films and for your heart, your so warm heart.
My pleasure. Thank you, Irina. Thank you.